Okay, so I want to show you how to convert between units of volume. Okay, now you'll remember, hopefully doing this, if I wanted to convert meters into centimeters, I just need to multiply meters by 100 to get it into centimeters, and I could go the opposite way, couldn't I? I could divide centimeters by 100 to put it into meters. Okay, and we then applied that to areas. So if I had two squares here, they're both the same area because they're both 1 meter by 1 meter. I've just written one as 100 centimeters by 100 centimeters. It's still the same size, isn't it? And we can work out these areas. So 1 times 1 is 1 squared, so this is 1 meter squared, and 100 times 100 is 10,000 centimeters squared. And so to get from meters squared into centimeters squared, you had to multiply it by 10,000. Or to go from centimeters squared back into meters squared, you had to divide it by 10,000. And actually that's the same as timesing it by 100 squared, or dividing it by 100 squared, because it's an area. Okay, units squared. Now this is the bit where it gets a bit newer, because we haven't done this yet, but we can apply the same principles again to a cube. So let's say I've got a 1 meter by 1 meter by 1 meter cube. If I had an identical cube but just wrote it in centimeters, I'd have 100 centimeters by 100 centimeters by 100 centimeters. So what would my volumes be? So 1 times 1 times 1 is 1, so that'll be 1 meter cubed, and that would be the same as 100 times 100 times 100, so that's 1 with 6 zeros after it. A million centimeters cubed. Okay, so if I want to go from meters cubed into centimeters cubed, then I need to multiply it by a million, or 100 cubed. Let's go the opposite way. I need to divide it by 100 cubed, or a million. Okay, so let's have a look at some examples. For this first one, I've got 3 meters cubed, and so in centimeters cubed, that's going to be 3 million, because 1 meter cubed is a million centimeters cubed. So that's 3 with 6 zeros after it. Right, example number 2. I've got 7/10 of 1 meter cubed, so that's going to be 7/10 of a million, so that is 700,000 centimeters cubed. Alright, the next one we're going the opposite way. So we're going from centimeters cubed into meters cubed, so I'm going to have to divide this by a million. Let's just have a little look to see how many zeros we've got here. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so not quite 6, so that's actually a tenth. That's 1/10 of a million, so that's 1/10 of 1 meter cubed, so 0.1. And you'll notice that's the same as dividing it by a million or dividing it by 100 cubed. Okay, question 4, a wordy example for you. If a scoop of sand has a volume of 20 centimeters cubed, how many scoops are needed to fill a 0.4 meter cubed sandpit? So here I want to basically say how many of these guys fit into this. So I'm going to have to do a division. So I'm going to want to divide this number by 20 centimeters cubed to see how many fit in there. But we need to be really careful because these units are different, aren't they? So we first need to make sure that they are the same. So let's put them both into centimeters cubed. So the first one, that's 4/10 of 1 meter cubed, so that's 4/10 of a million, of a million, so that's 400,000 centimeters squared, sorry, centimeters cubed. And we can divide that by 20 centimeters cubed, and I don't need the units anymore because they're both the same. Let's see how many fit in there. that gives me an answer of 20,000. So you'd need 20,000 scoops to fill the sandpit.
Joash Maths.